As General Secretary of the National Council of Churches, I'm grateful to the Council's Committee on Public Education and Literacy for raising awareness of the need for and the importance of public education reform in this country. The 37 denominations that make up the National Council address a number of pressing social issues, such things as racial discrimination and poverty and the lack of affordable health care. But no less important than any of these is the need for high-quality, universally available public education.
I think one of the major challenges in our country is that we are caught in these debates that are more about structure than substance. It's not a debate of pro-charter or anti-charter. It's the reality that charters only educate 4% of our students across the country.
There's a very strong narrative that I call the corporate reform narrative. And the corporate reform narrative is represented very well by a movie called Waiting for Superman. And Waiting for Superman makes the assertion throughout its presentation that the public system is hopelessly broken and that the only way to help solve the problems of our society is to create more and more privately managed charters. Today, something like 3.5% of American children are in charter schools. With a lot of effort, it might go up to 5%, could even be 6%. Maybe someday it might be 10%. And so we have this, what some people would call a lifeboat strategy, pick off one child at a time, very often by skimming the best kids from the poorest communities, destabilizing, delegitimating a major public institution, public education. But the corporate reform narrative assumes that the free market will always be more successful than the public sector. And I'm a very strong believer in the virtue of a free market for producing goods and services. Free market is great for that. But there are places where the free market doesn't belong. And we have to maintain a strong public sector for our most important services, and that I would include not just education, but the fire department, the police department, the military, public education, public beaches, national parks, public libraries, and public hospitals. There are many, many things in life that cannot be turned into a free market. Not only those vital public good services that I've described, but there are things like faith. I mean, your faith is not something that belongs in the free market. Family is not something that we don't have metrics to say, my family is better than your family. This child is better than that child. I don't have a metric for comparing them. And yet we're using this data-driven approach to things that really should be matters of human judgment. And it's corrupting public services in the public sector. The first principle in education is a love of learning. And the teacher who is best at that is the best teacher, only I don't know a metric for measuring that. The most important things in life do not have metrics. And by that I'm talking about the outcomes of education, not just love of learning, but integrity, responsibility, caring for others, a sense of justice, a sense of compassion for other people, empathy. There is no serious public thinking today about ways to systemically improve public education for all kids. There's not the capacity to sustain charter schools for everybody. And even if we were to suddenly break up public education into 1 million charter schools, by all the research that I've seen, it would produce no better results.
How do we recruit and retain, provide the supports necessary for highly effective teachers? How do we ensure that every child who walks into a classroom is going to receive a college preparatory curricula and by grade 12 will have the opportunity to choose college or career? And then how do we ensure that every child has the resources necessary to learn? Those are the big issues we need to address, not working on the fringes, not maintaining the status quo, and not highlighting small islands of success. But we need to take on the comprehensive, tough issues.
What I've learned from watching what's happening in New Orleans, which is like the most charter-heavy city in the country, is that the charters actually, that there are many children they don't want. And my friends in New Orleans who are looking at the situation say these are the high-cost children. And on a market model, they don't want the high-cost children. So this is, in effect, creating a two-track system. And even in a city that's heavily minority, it's reproducing something that we thought we got away from with Brown versus the Board of Education. One set of schools for the haves and another set for the have-nots.
Each child has special sacred gifts which need to be nurtured, and all children are special and precious in God's eyes, which means that a system in which some children have access to excellent instruction while others don't simply is unacceptable. Let us together affirm the value of educating our children, each of them and all of them.